to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of some of our real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate and the preferred professionals that we trust. Be part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined in studio with Sharon McNamara. Sharon, shout hello from the next room. Sharon is just posting a little video that we did right before going live on air. Oh, here you are.
Here.
Hello.
Hi to all our WAT listeners. We're so happy that you could join us. We are live, right?
Yeah, we are. We're live.
We have George in studio. Hello, hello.
Hey Sharon, hey Melissa.
Hey.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Yeah, so we're so happy to be here tonight. It's a rainy Tuesday. We had a great weekend. We had our girls' weekend away. We had the whole team, and Captain Mark took care of us there over on Eggertown this past weekend.
Yeah, it was smooth sailing.
Yeah.
We were cruising and boozing.
Yeah, I cannot drink espresso martinis.
Yeah, if you want to call in and guess how many espresso martinis each one of us had, we'll give you a gift card if you get it right.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that will get people calling for sure. 781-837-4900.
Yeah, let's just
we
say
don't do it often.
No, we don't. But you know what? We had a safe captain. He brought us down to Eggertown, and we were on a mooring, which was amazing. Mm-hmm. And we had the two dogs, the two Frenchies with us, and we just had an amazing time.
It was fun time had by all, for sure.
Yes.
So
thank you, Sharon and Captain Mark. We had such a great time.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome. We love to do that with you guys every year. So already looking forward to next year.
I know. Is it next summer yet?
Yeah, I know. But here we have a rainy day. I was talking to George before we went live, and these types of days just make you want to, curl in your bed and think about, sleeping. What?
I think my brother is listening, which I never knew that that he did. He's saying altogether 26. No.
There was three of us drinking.
Yeah, three of us, Ethan. There's three of us, so I'll let you have another guess, but three of us drinking espresso martinis after pretty much drinking all day. But yeah, and you're supposed to call, so don't be so shy, Ethan. But yeah, what were you saying? I cut you off.
No, that's all right. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, I was just saying that today's the type of day that it feels like you just want to cuddle in your bed and maybe take a nap. I can't remember the last time I took a nap. Oh, yes, I can. It was Sunday.
Saturday. I know. Was it Saturday? Oh, yeah. So we all woke up a little.
We can tell all of our secrets, okay? No, we're not going down there. But I'm just saying.
No. Not all the secrets. So we had an amazing time Friday night and
took a nap on
Saturday we had to take a nap. All of us. But we were in the middle of I know I say in the middle of the ocean, but that's not right.
We were in the middle of a harbor. It was Eggertown. It was beautiful. But what I was thinking about when we're thinking about taking a nap, it's just this time, and it's like you can feel the sun is sort of setting earlier, and it just gets darker earlier, and you can feel that fall is coming. And I think that there are a lot of sellers out there right now who potentially think that maybe they missed the market and that maybe they should have come on the market sooner, or maybe they just completely missed it and they're not sure what's going on. So tonight we're gonna ease those thoughts, right?
Ease those thoughts, yeah. Well, I just want to start off with asking you a question of, the saying, you missed the market, is what makes one market different from the next? Is it the season? Is it the time of year? Is it what makes one market different?
So I just think the market is, people will probably think in quarters. People think seasonally. People think around the holidays. We have all these fluctuations. I mean, that's what I was doing earlier. I was doing some spreadsheets and looking at numbers and comparing the last 5 years. When did we have the most sales and things like that? But honestly, the best market to sell your home, ready? Everybody listen. Shh, shh, shh. When you want to.
When you're ready.
When you're ready. That is the best time to sell your house. There is always somebody out there that is looking to purchase a home. So whenever you put your home on the market, so long as you're listening to your real estate professional, then you should be okay when it comes to pricing and condition. We have to sort of be the ones that are moving and grooving. And I know we're having a little bit of a difficult time right now for sellers to understand where we are in this market and how we're coming to the number that we're coming to.
Yeah. You mean like when you do your listing?
When I'm doing the CMA, yeah. So comparative market analysis. So I think that's where people have to wrap their head around. Now think back, like, okay, I bought my house in 1992 for $137,500. Okay? So if I sold it today, did I miss any market? Like, I'm certainly going to be doing okay,
Well, I don't think that you missed any market because you weren't ready to sell. You're still not ready to sell.
No, I'm still not ready to sell. I'm not going anywhere now. I finally have my garage.
Yeah. You'll most likely age in place, correct?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That is our plan. I mean, that was the plan that we made for ourselves. I mean, we have a 3-bedroom cape. We bought it 30 years ago because we just had our 30th wedding anniversary on Monday, last week. And that was our plan, was just to sort of put a couple additions. Well, actually, we put one addition on, added the garage, but we aged in place. But there are a lot of people who have, they sold their home, they got the bigger home, and because they were busting out at the seams. So at some point, they're going to want to sell. But again, it all comes back to when is the best time for you to sell is what market? It's the market that's best for you when your time is right.
So why do you feel as though people believe that they miss the market currently? So today, why would someone think that they miss the market to sell their house?
I believe that people think that they miss the market because they're seeing that we're not having that same frenzy, which we were calling reckless. I loved that when we were away this weekend. I mean, we really do a good job when we go away, or if we go out to dinner and we're doing stuff that we don't talk too much about business. But of course, it comes up. I mean, it comes up in every conversation, no matter where we are.
When you have 4 real estate agents trying to go on vacation with each other.
Yeah. And even other than that, though, I mean, even if I'm out with other people, they always ask me about the market. So, we did a really good job about not really talking too much real estate. I mean, it's weird. We were actually working while we were away as well, but, remotely. But I think that people, they're not seeing that rapid fire, like, oh, you put your house on the market and it's selling right away. Like we're just not seeing that anymore. Those days are behind us. We're not going to see them. And what is the reason for it? There are several, and we've had radio shows on it. I'm not going to harp on interest rates. I'm not going to harp on COVID. I'm not going to harp on any of that. It is what it is, and there's nothing that we can do to change it, but look forward. Do I think that it's continuing to go down? I do think that we will continue to see sale prices come down because I do feel, I wish that radio could see us. Oh, you can join us on Facebook. But I don't have a screen up or anything or a whiteboard, but I wish that I could get what my thoughts are out on paper. Is we're looking at the last 6 months of what has sold, right? So that was during that hectic time when people were bidding over, asking by 100,000, 50,000, 75,000, whatever that thousands were. Well, those days are gone. But right now when I'm pricing a house, I'm looking at the past 6 months. That's what that sold price was. I am now doing CMAs, comparative market analysis, not based on the sold price. I'm looking at the list price. I hate to give myself credit, but I got to tell you, like, I predicted this. Do you remember? I predicted this at the beginning of the year. And then when we started to see things changing, and I predicted we're going to have a bigger problem come fall when we're using these escalated emotional prices as our sold numbers, and sellers are still going to expect to get that number.
Yeah.
And they're not.
No. Well, That's why it's so important to educate all of your clients. When you, again, I've said it a million times, you do a really great job when you do your CMAs here at the office. You bring them into your space. You've already been into their space to see their house and sort of analyze it that way.
Putting it, yeah.
You're inviting them into your space so you can sort of educate them on where the market is. And it's very important to know that, just because you want a certain number doesn't mean somebody else is willing to give it to you. And I think that is why we've seen a lot of price adjustments in the past couple weeks.
And we're seeing more, and we're seeing houses that are on the market. Now, I was with buyers on Sunday, so we took Friday off and had Saturday for our little getaway. Sunday, I had to show a house down in Bourne. Mary was showing a couple houses, and I went into this house, and I was just like, all right, you've already had a couple price adjustments. I can see exactly what happened here. That house wasn't the house for my client. I was actually looking at another house online for them today, and I was talking to the real estate agent, and I always ask, I noticed that this house has been on the market for 70 days. Can you tell me why? Because don't be afraid just because you see a house being on the market for days on market for a long time. Don't just assume, you know what assume stands for, assume, right, out of you and me. Don't assume that it's because something's wrong with the house. Yeah. You have to try to figure out. I think a lot of this price reduction, days on market, the buyers are very, very smart, and they're not going to be pushed into the corner anymore. That's where we are. Yeah,
especially if you have a unique property, maybe a style home that not everybody, it wouldn't suit everybody's needs. If it has a lot of stairs, it probably wouldn't suit people who don't or can't go upstairs. So there are a lot of factors, areas, everything. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with the home, but it also could be price.
Yeah. A lot of times it is. Yeah. Generally speaking, if a house does not sell, I am going to make this so simple for everybody. It comes down to price for the majority of the time, because if your price doesn't match I'm going to say always. Let me put myself out there. Always. Because if the price doesn't match the condition and the location, then no one's going to pay for it. So even if you are abutting the local dump, if you price it right, it will sell. Yeah. Because that's what the expectation is. Now, what I see a lot of sellers making the mistake of is trying to say, oh, my house could be. Remember those? Like, oh, my house could be this. And they wanted to pocket the equity that somebody else was actually going to have to put into a house, right? Just because they could get that number. I just want to let all our WATD listeners know we are here. We are live. George is in studio. He can pipe you right on through to us. We are at our home office here in Pembroke Center. 781-837-4900. If you have any questions for us, comments, concerns, anything you'd like us to discuss. Also, I guess Melissa wanted to do a contest. How many espresso martinis did the three of us drink on Friday night?
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
We did have a lot of fun.
And we have Dunkin' Donut cards, gift cards for people who like to call in. So, and you can also go to Facebook?
Yeah, we're all over. Yeah, we're all over Facebook, all over the Connect pages. So if you want to see us, or if you're too shy to call in, you can put a comment on our live.
Absolutely. All right, so that's where we are. Did you have other questions for me? Did I answer that question?
I think you did.
Okay.
I think you did, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I don't know what it is. Like, my voice seems a little weird tonight. It seems like David Allen Boucher.
You're, like, very serious.
I'm really not. Inside, I'm an apple. On the outside, I'm a PC.
A what? Oh. I was thinking of, like, an apple.
No, I'm a Mac. I'm a MacBook.
So I'm like,
on the inside, I feel like a MacBook. On the outside, I'm definitely a PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. All right. So you sort of went over what differentiates one market from another, correct?
Yeah, and again, it can be seasonal, it can be quarterly. It really numbers are numbers. You can make them look any darn way you want them to look. So let's talk about seasons. You want to talk about seasons?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the seasons. So even though the report I did is on quarters, but quarterly, I guess, is sort of like seasons, right? Yeah. So Seasonally, I would say like the ups and downs that we see, like I always tell my clients, I wouldn't put a house on the market that first week in July. I just feel like everybody is on vacation, right? I just find it a little bit slower. When we put your listing into MLS as a real estate agent, it only stays new, I think it's 48 hours. So if everybody is, at the beach, they're not going to see it as new. You're just going to get stuck in that active mode. So I feel now we'll see an upswing again. I feel like the kids are back to school if you have children. And then we'll start to see more homes coming on the market. I was actually very surprised today when I did my hot sheet though, and there wasn't a lot of activity on the hot sheet. It sort of made my heart flutter a little bit, like in not a good way.
Yeah.
What did it do to you?
Yeah, I've noticed that. Not a ton coming on, but again, it's just hit September, so we have a little bit of a time. I'll move on to winter. We've notoriously said that winter is really good for like higher priced homes because a lot of people who are moving to the area, maybe from out of state because of their job.
Yeah, relocation.
They're being relocated. They're only gonna, they're not emotionally attached to, where they're living is because, they might move around a lot. And we've seen the higher priced homes go in the winter months.
Exactly. And we see them all year, but we tend to see them happen at the end of the year where people are nervous about putting their house on the market. And this has happened to us several times where we tell our clients, no, don't wait until the spring, put it on now, because a lot of the big companies, and remember, Boston is a huge hub when it comes to education, finance, and medical. So we have a lot of transient type people who are coming here for employment that they start fiscal year in January or even April when they're starting, the new fiscal years. They want to be moved into their homes. So that's why they're looking at houses in October, November, December, so they can be in for the start of their new job come January.
Yeah. That's what I got to say about the winter months.
And I want to say, too, one of the things we'll start to see now, like in the fall, we usually see a little bit of an upswing. So today, like I said, my heart sort of fell a little bit where I was like, wow, I expected more to be on the market come today. But maybe people just, it will be this week. I think this week will be a big telltale for me and where my mind and my thought process is going to go. Because usually we'll see more listings come on right about now.
Yeah.
And then we'll start to see that slow down as soon as it hits Halloween. The 29th. Well, it's not the 29th. Our party is the 29th. The 31st, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's also sort of a weird week. I mean, yesterday was a holiday, so a lot of people had it off. So it's a short week. And again, it's the first week in September. So things, I think, because this year has been a little bit weird, it might be a little bit weird to start the fall market. But it always starts every year, right?
It's so interesting to me because I'm looking at this spreadsheet that I did. So I did the last 5 years and I did it by quarters, right? And I'm just looking at, it's hard, well, you can't tell with 2022 because we haven't even finished third quarter yet. But if you look at all the other years, 2021 down to 2017, you can see that third quarter has the most sales in every year, right? For the last 5 years, that third quarter had the most sales. Fall is always busy. But then I was thinking, if I had thought about it earlier, I thought about doing this report last minute to sort of dissect it month by month, because I'm curious, these sales were the houses, like they're probably closed 30 to 60 days before is when they were under agreement, right?
Yeah.
So I need to know what these fall numbers are our highest number for sales. Is that based on houses coming on the market in the spring and selling in the fall?
Yeah. That's what popped into my head, because I'm like, okay, so third quarter, it would bring us through September, but I mean, fourth quarter is after that. So these are all houses that have been on the market. They just happen to sell in third quarter. But did they sell in the beginning of third quarter? Did they sell at the end of third quarter?
But even
these are things that we have to think of when when you're doing your CMAs.
This is the type of stuff, honestly, that I'm just sitting here as if I'm not even on the radio right now live, because my head goes towards numbers. But I am looking and I'm thinking, okay, so even if I look at fourth quarter, when the solds were, the fourth quarter solds are pretty they're pretty high, and that means that was because houses were on the market in the fall months. So the lowest of all of the months that we see is January. That makes sense to me, though, because fourth quarter, remember I said it slows down October, right? So that's November and December. So October, November, December, those 3 months, or January even, those 3 months, not as many people put things on the market.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they should. I do. I just think you have less competition out there. And if you want to get yourself into a predicament where you want to have that multiple offer situation again, my suggestion to you is put your house on the market in the winter.
Yeah, and we've said in the past that putting your house on the market in the wintertime, you get more serious buyers, and I think less looky-loos, because, in the nicer months, you could have a neighbor walking by, and they just want to see your house, and they come in for the open houses, and we did a couple shows on open houses and whether or not they work. We have our opinions. Everybody else has their own opinion. But when it comes to the wintertime, we know that, the buyers that are out there are the serious ones, because and who wants to go out in bad weather? Nobody, unless you are searching for your forever or right now home. So anybody who is out looking for a house, personally, I believe in the wintertime is serious. No, Absolutely. Unless you're walking a dog in the middle of a snowstorm, there's no need to just do looky-loos, be a looky-loo at an open house.
And it's interesting too, because the agent I was talking to down the Cape today about this other house that I want to show, and I was asking her some questions about the property, and she said, I discussed with my client if they wanted to have an open house, and they said no. And it's for that reason. She goes, I had one open house, and honestly, the only people that came were the neighbors, because they're like, oh, we know how many renovations that they've been doing. We've been dying to see the inside of this house. So they weren't even real buyers. You don't have to have an open house. I assure you, the way technology is today versus how technology was when I started is so different. I promise you. Even if you don't have an open house, if somebody's going to see your house and they want to see the inside of it, they will call either their agent, they'll call us, they'll find somebody who's buying leads off of Zillow or whatever. They'll get in.
Well, something that I should have said on one of those shows was, and it just popped into my head, that, if someone is serious about seeing your home or wanting to purchase your home, by the time they make it to the open house, they probably have already seen it. Either with a private showing or virtually, because of technology. And when you said technology, that's why it popped into my head, because there's so many things. We have the professional photos, we have the floor plans. Some people do the Matterports that, where you can see every nook and cranny before you even get into a house. These homes are so accessible that going to the open house is probably the third time that they're seeing it.
And this is where we go back to, this is our thought is that's just for looky-loos. But I think the point is, I think doing them right now, but if you're worried about doing it in the winter because you don't want, where am I going to go? It isn't like you're going to go to the park or something. Well, I mean, it's really nice to go to the park in the winter, but I think that people are afraid, and they don't want people bringing snow and all that through their house. I say don't worry about that. We have booties. We tell people to take off their shoes. We actually have Boston Connect slippers. I keep them in the back of my car when I show houses. I put them on. So, people are courteous about that aspect. But you won't have to leave as much. It's only the real people who are really buying that are going to come out during that time. Yeah. So, I don't know. And we did get a caller this week he didn't want to call in.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to say thank you. At least we know people are listening.
Yeah, well, he did say, I know sometimes people don't call, but we are out there listening.
And we have a special show lined up where we're lining up for him.
Yeah. Do we want to say what it is?
Yeah, we can. Actually, you can tell he had only one complaint about our show. George, guess what it was?
What was it?
He doesn't want to say because he doesn't want to say something that wasn't what he said.
We'll talk off air.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, he just got mumbled.
We'll talk off air.
Okay. So he actually called my cell phone the other day. He was looking for Pro Enviro's contact information, and we were chatting a little bit. And he did say, we listen. We've been listening to for a long time. You guys do a great job. You work so hard. And he said, my only suggestion would be to talk about your mail agents more often. So we do talk about our female agents. We have a lot of female agents. We are females.
And the reason why we do, and a lot of times the females come up, is because they're in the office.
Yeah.
They're, sometimes we have them on the show. We open up the show to everyone, but it seems like the men in our life might be too busy. So as soon as I heard this comment, sent out a text to 3 of our guy agents in the office and just said, hey, how about a show? So we are planning on a show, and
we were going to do it tonight, but guess what? They're busy in their business.
They're busy. Yeah, they are busy. Doesn't mean our females aren't busy. It just means I don't even know what it means. But me, Mary, and Melissa, we're all women. So there you go. But we are working on that show.
Yeah.
And thank you for your input. I like it.
Okay, so what moving forward? So we talked about types of markets. Do you want to talk about sellers, buyers market, or do we just want to move forward?
Well, it's pretty easy. A seller's market is when there are more buyers than there are houses to buy, right? So they call that absorption rate. And then a buyer's market would be when there are more sellers than there are buyers. So again, that would be absorption rate statistics, and we can get into that another day. But that's how that's all calculated.
Yeah. Let's sort of talk about the current state of the market. So I'm just going through our agenda, and it's like some of these things, like some of these statistics that Julia came up with, I'm like, what? And I think that maybe this is why you're feeling the way that you're feeling today after looking in MLS and looking at sort of the state of the market. So number of homes sold decreased almost 25% from year to year. So 25%, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And that's the thing, is people were thinking like everything was like just going through the roof. Things were, but I can't discuss those statistics because, again, numbers will, like, I don't know if she's looking at it nationwide or if she's looking locally. So that's why I don't know if I can really talk about that. But I did do like the town of just Pembroke.
Okay.
Accidentally. I was trying to do all of Plymouth County, and I didn't realize that my chart had changed. So I do have some information just on like first quarter of like how many houses were on the market first quarter of 2021. How many sold in 2021 in Pembroke was 38. And then actually I have it all in my spreadsheet. I don't really want to discuss that right now.
Okay.
Sorry. I just
what do you want to discuss?
No, I'm sorry. Because I'm just looking at all my numbers, and this is just for Pembroke. So, I don't know. I don't want to just hyper-focus just on Pembroke. The other stuff I had, these other numbers were all Plymouth County.
Okay, so maybe let's not go back in time. Let's move forward. Look forward. So what are some predictions that you have for the rest of the year?
Well, I honestly think that like this next week or two is really going to indicate what is going to happen. But I honestly feel, there are certain price ranges that are still going to be busy and always be busy. So I met with one client at the beginning of the week that's buying a house. That range is up to, well, it was actually at the end of last week. Their range was up to 375. So when I did a search, and I did up to 400 just to give myself a little bit of a cushion. And I looked in several towns, and honestly, there's still nothing on the market. Then I have another client that was, on the market, it's up to like let's just say 1.5 million. And I still am not finding any houses that are on the market. So it's interesting to me that we're still in the same predicament that we're in. The only thing that's going to change this is if people decide to put their house on the market this fall. And again, this next week or two will really sort of showcase that to me, because if we don't see things starting to come on the market in the next couple of weeks, we probably won't.
Yeah, so maybe we should do a recap of this in a couple weeks.
I'd be happy to then, just to see what
good or bad news.
Yeah, because what a hot sheet is to all of our WATD listeners. Every morning when we get up and we look into MLS, which is the multiple listing service, that tells us, what house are there new listings on the market? Did any of the listings that were on the market, did they go contingent or under agreement, or did they sell? Did any of them we've seen withdrawn? So one of the ones I looked at down the Cape, it was withdrawn. But I still called the agent and said, my client really would still like to see it, but they changed their mind. They don't want to sell. and what has expired. So we're seeing more of those expireds. I think when I look at that every day, it's so funny because, like, there are days you open it up and it's just like, oh, look at all this new stuff, or look at, because we're looking at several different towns, right? Like I said, when I went on there today, I was like, I'm like, what's going on out there?
You had to refresh your page. Did I not put in the right password? Is this wrong?
Well, when I looked at it, I was just like, let me refresh my page. Perhaps something is wrong. But again, it's the day after the holiday. We'll see what happens this week. I am very optimistic that people will be coming on the market this week.
Yeah. I mean, it is only Tuesday, so perhaps, Wednesday or Thursday, which is our days that you like to put new listings on, that maybe it's just sort of the hustle and bustle of the long weekend is just, everyone's tired today.
Yeah. I know, Julia did such a good job, by the way. Julia is our new administrative coordinator here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she did such a great job with all this information that she put in here. I just don't know if she's looking at national. I know she has access to MLS, but I don't know if she's looking at these statistics from a national point of view. If it's hyper-local, I'm not sure, so I really don't want to talk about it and misspeak.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. All right, well, I guess we're done with the show.
Yeah, so we don't want to talk about this anymore. All right, so why don't we talk about, so let's encourage people to put their house on the market for the fall. So what are some top tips that you would tell a seller right now in order to put their house on the market?
What's so funny? Because I'm really laughing right now because tonight we didn't even need 45 minutes to get across what I wanted to say. And there are times when we have hour shows. I've been on, with Michael McNamara on McNamara Financial. I've done 3-hour shows when I'm like, I didn't have enough time. But tonight it's just, I don't know if because I've been looking at numbers and things are just black and white to me, right? It's just like, these are the numbers. This is what we have. There is not a lot of inventory. When there isn't a lot of inventory, so this is where sellers have to realize there isn't a lot of inventory. This is what I need to know.
Okay. Finish one sentence before you move on to the next one, please.
I literally told you before the show I need an espresso.
I tried to get you a coffee, and then you didn't say yes until I was literally on Barker Street. I'm like, would you like me to turn around?
But this is what I need to know is, when this is what I'm thinking. Sellers are afraid, or they're hearing that they're not getting the number that they think that they deserve anymore, so they're not coming on the market. I can't change that. I cannot change emotional value. I'm just letting everybody know the hecticness that you saw during those several months was based on, remember, we had a Saturday show and a woman called and she was very angry with us. I'm not going to say it was anybody's fault, but it was certainly the doings of buyers and some buyers' agents, because they had to do it. They were just fighting and fighting and fighting for these, for the house. So it was like, all right, I know the last time I lost it to $100,000. I'll go $200,000 over. It was just mayhem. Now we're back. This is called normalization, my friends. Everybody breathe. If you want to move, put your house on the market. It's that simple. But just be realistic with what your expectations are of the value of your home. Yeah. And this is the other thing too. I know that we've heard some sellers say, well, if I put my house on the market for, let's just say we do a market analysis and we say, okay, the value range of your house is between $475 and $500. And then they say, oh, we'll put it on for $500. How many offers do you think we'll get over asking?
Hello?
Do you know what that is? That's like me knocking on someone's head. It just isn't working that way. And I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm just this is where we are. This is where the numbers are right now. Yes, there are some homes out there that are getting offers, several offers. Recently one of our agents had multiple offers, right?
Yeah, all of them?
Yeah. So it's still happening, but it's because I feel their sellers are doing a really good job listening to the advice that our agents are giving them, and not basing everything on emotional value.
Yeah.
Like those sale prices that we saw were based on emotional value.
Yeah, well, that's why I say you do a really great job of educating the people who you invite into our home, and sort of show them how you got your number. At the end of the day, if somebody, accepts that number and really loves you and wants to work with you, they'll hire you. And if not, if they're looking for somewhere else, let them dabble with somebody else. They might come back.
And here's the other thing too, is I always go back to, and one, I'm pretty known for this, is sometimes I'll go out to people's homes and I'll say, I just don't think it's a really good idea for you to sell right now. Like,
Yeah.
I think that you're better off from a financial standpoint. I think that you're better off in the house that you're in.
Yeah, especially if like they're going from one style home to the same style, like they're looking for the same home just updated. Well, why move? Just sort of update the home that you're currently in, make it work for your lifestyle now. And I know Tracy and Jim Grady have come on here before and talked about how they're going to age in place. I mean, they do have a beautiful, home in Hanover. Their kids are grown and have moved out. They have a lot of space, but they've decided that, aging in place is what's best for them. So they're updating their home in the way that they want to and that they can enjoy.
Because I think it comes down to that same thing of, where do I go? I think that that's still the common thread of what people, if you're listening, 781-837-4900, instead of me sitting here guessing, because I haven't had my espresso, instead of me guessing, why are people hesitant to put their house on the market right now if they are thinking about selling? I'd like to know. 781-837-4900, or you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on all of our Facebook channels that we have, Pembroke Connect and Marshfield Connect. You can find it under Boston Connect Real Estate, Sharon Costa McNamara. We'd be curious to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah. Let us know. I just think that, I lost my thought, so.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I just think the main thing today that, the topic was, did I miss the market? And I don't think that anybody ever misses a market.
No.
The market is what it is at the time that you want to put the house on that you want to move. I mean, it basically comes down to that. So don't worry about it so much.
You might have missed the market that we just left, but you can certainly enter the market that we are about to begin.
Yes, absolutely.
Hopefully this week. Please.
Exactly. I know. Well, and here's the thing. I'm doing a CMA. I'm going to someone's home tomorrow. And here's the situation too is, I have somebody who wants to right size into a different town that they're living in now, and they don't have a mortgage on their home. I'm not going to say what this house is, so I'll talk a little bit openly about it. They don't have a mortgage on their home. They'd like to go to their next chapter without a mortgage as well. But I also wonder after, talking to them, and I'm going to bring some items with me tomorrow, what they're looking for in the town they're looking for. I'm just not exactly sure that it's going to be able to happen like that. You know what I mean? So we shall see.
We shall see.
We shall see.
But who knows? Their dream home might come on in the next 2 days. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I know.
Do you have an itch on your nose?
Yeah, I do. I have a problem here. My nose is peeling.
I mean, if something were to come on in the next few days or the next few weeks, again, it's all situational. So if you see something you really love and you need to sell, put your house on the market so you can move forward with that one. But maybe that's one of the reasons why is somebody is waiting. They've already made up their mind that they want to sell, but they're waiting for something, the right opportunity to come up.
I was just going to say that too. So I think that's like we're sort of in this holding pattern right now because people don't know where they're going to go. So they're choosing to just wait for something to come on the market. George, do you have a caller for us?
Yes, I do, Sharon. We have from Weymouth. He wants to give you guys his 2 cents. That's something.
Okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you, but what was the name?
Tom from Weymouth.
Tom from Weymouth. Hi, Tom. Hi. Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You were just asking me a question. Why you think? Okay. Besides the money aspect, I think I'm going. everybody's determined. Everybody acts hard. Everybody say, everybody want to do anything well. She needs. But I really feel it beyond the cost and the money factor. Just people are afraid. And I really think that you, if things go the way I think they should go, in November could make a change in the games of people feeling good about what go on. That's why I don't get too political, but that's the way I feel. Just everybody talk to us, just there's nothing fun anymore. If you grew up in the era I did, life was fun. It's no more fun. You know, so people have no much more uptight about
George, we can't hear anything. I don't know if they're getting that same mumbled, but if you want to stop, just put that on hold. Well, what I'll do is I can barely make out. I made out maybe 3 words of what our caller said, just because we're having some type of static that's coming through. So I apologize about that. But in those 3 words, I know what he's talking about. So he's talking about, I heard him say our sitting president, and I heard him say November. So even just having those few words, I absolutely positively know which directions he's going in, and I 100% agree with him on that. And this is what happened when we were going on for, a new election, when, we didn't know what was going to happen with the last election, presidential election. We were in the same place. So come November, if the Republicans win all the seats again, and will things change up? So I do agree with you that people are there is no confidence in the economy right now. We have inflation. We have a lot of things that are going on where people are not feeling safe and secure. So the only place that they feel safe and secure right now is in their own home that they currently know. They know where they are.
Yeah, and not to cut you off, but I'm getting texts saying that he said that there's no more fun in the world, not to get political, but he's saying people are scared to go out in the world and there's no more fun.
Yeah. And that's what I do, and I 100% agree with him. I think that, I'm watching the news. I'm a self-employed woman. My husband is self-employed. We had nothing, started with nothing. We sold suits and consignment shops to get our first house, and, to my first boss out there at Reebok who gave me a Coach bag, I sold it so I could afford, a down payment. So I understand what he's saying. The changes that are going on, I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to say anything about the tuition reimbursement thing because I don't understand it. And again, the people, and I know you're one of them, Melissa, you have the tuition reimbursement that will be coming your way probably. I don't know what it's based on or any of that. There are a lot of unknowns going on, but all I know is, maybe that's good though, that $10,000, that the tuition reimbursement that people, or forgiveness is what I think it is. Maybe those people can now afford to buy a home, and maybe that's great. But it isn't like they're giving them $10,000 cash. It's just forgiveness off of our debt that we have right now for this country. So, but then I also know that it's going to cost every person $2,700 a year to make up for that. There are a lot of political views that go on with this. I don't want to get into the mud with it, but I do believe that the uncertainty of the economy, the uncertainty of what is this that we're in what are we in right now? We're in not a depression, but we are in a recession. Definitely, who knows if we're going towards a depression? I don't think so. But until November comes with those elections, will things change? I don't know. Maybe that's when people will start to feel more comfortable. And that is a very, very good point and valid point. I'm sorry I did not get the caller's name, but he makes some good points, don't you think?
Well, I didn't hear him, so I don't know.
Oh, it was Tom. It was Tom from Weymouth. Yeah, so we'll have to just figure out why we're having a little static coming back from the studio with all of that, and get that all fixed for next week's show.
Well, we only have 2 minutes left, so any final thoughts for our listeners?
Yeah, you know what? you didn't miss the market. The market is where we are right now. So, I mean, you can't cry over spilt milk. If you missed it, you missed it. I mean, I know for me, with my retirement, I was listening to my brother-in-law's show this past weekend, McNamara on Money, which plays every Saturday morning from 8 to 10, and again on Sundays from 7 to, I think, 9. I was listening to his show, and you know, for what I put in, what I've contributed into my retirement, yeah, maybe I've lost a lot in the past couple years, but I'm in it for the long haul. So don't think of it as you missed a market where you were making this extraordinary money. You should be happy that buyers are not making reckless decisions anymore. If you want to pull out a moral compass, you know, this is where your number is. This is what the value of your house is, and I'm sure that you're doing just fine with based on what you purchased it for. You can find all of our past shows on our website and our podcast. You want to tell everybody about that?
TalkRealEstateRoundtable.com. You can go to your podcast app, search for Talk Real Estate Roundtable, Spotify, Apple Music, all that fun stuff. You can go to BostonConnect.com, get all of our contact information. 781-826-8000 is the number here. We'll see
you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Have a great night,
See you
everybody.
Saturday.
Bye-bye.
WPTV,